Hey everyone, Metagross Freak here, and if you haven't gotten the update, this is what Galio looks like now. Um, I know I haven't done a League of Legends video in a while. I haven't really been playing a lot of League lately. I kind of got out of it when I was finishing my capstone at college, and now that I've been on a job hunt and I'm able to play Borderlands 2 again, I haven't really been playing a lot of playing a lot of League of Legends. But if you, for some reason, haven't caught up on any news, this is what Galio looks like now, and he is freaking massive. It was kind of implied before that Galio was about the same height as a human, maybe 10 or 12 feet tall at max, given his scaling. Um, but now he's just massive. Like, you can clearly see down here the humans, like, at most go up to like his like mid ankle. I actually did measure this classic Galio, and had one measurement for the top of his head and one measurement for the top of like the crown, and I kind of averaged it. But based on my measurement with this human, the one in the white dress, who looks to be about kind of the midway point between the guy here and the person here, Galio is about 17 humans tall. I measured that from about where the heel is right here all the way to, I guess you could say, about this midpoint between the head and the crown, just to get an average. And he is then, in that case, if the average human is about 5 and a half feet, considering the average heights of humans, about 5 feet 6 inches or 5.5 feet, that would put Galio at just over 90 feet tall. If you consider the rest of the crown and the remainder of his wings, which are going to be ridiculously long too, Galio is freaking massive. But from about that midpoint, he's probably about 90 feet tall, which kind of makes me surprised that in lore, at least when Poppy was reworked, we didn't get any hint at this, because Poppy spends a lot of time looking for the Demacian hero, so it's kind of weird that we didn't see or hear any preview of this. But Galio's size is pretty inconsistent based on his skin. Classic Galio, again, seems to be a little over 90 feet tall, but if we look at the Demon Galio, unlike the previous Galio, who, like, clearly, a human goes up to about his mid-ankle, on Gatekeeper Galio, a single human is about as big, like you can see this human here is about as big as the fang coming out of his lower jaw, which I'm not even going to try to measure that, but I would probably estimate that this version of Galio is probably well over 500 feet, just based on the fact that, like, his head alone is probably about, like, maybe 5 or 6 humans tall, and that's not counting the crown piece and the horns. I'm talking about just, like, from the bottom of his chin to the top of his forehead, or at least to the basically where kind of like where I think the bottom of his chin would be. So this version, Gatekeeper Galio, is freaking massive. Then we go to Enchanted Galio. By the way, I love this version of Galio. It looks amazing, and it looks so much better than the original Galio, and we can clearly see that his hand is about as big as an evergreen tree, or at least what looks to be an evergreen tree. Now, if you're familiar with evergreen trees, a lot of the ones, at least where I live, are about 40 to 50 feet tall, and I realize the scaling isn't great on this, and also if you need other reference, you can clearly see here this hand is about as big as evergreen trees as well. But for most humanoid creatures, your palm, like from the fingertips to the base to your wrist, is about the same size as your face. So I'm going to say that if an evergreen tree is about 40 to 50 feet, or about let's say 40 feet, about 40 feet, and about the same size as his face, and this version of Galio, from about the top of his face to the bottom of the screen is about 5 heads, or at least about 5 like faces worth. I think it's probably safe to say this version is about maybe 8 or 9 heads tall, which is fine. Just pretty damn tall. Which would be about 350, 360 just to get to the top of the cranium. Again, you'd have to add on extra height for the wings and the horns. So this Galio, I'd probably say, is conservative estimate, at minimum 400 to 500 feet as well. Though definitely not as monstrous as Gatekeeper Galio. Next up we have Commando Galio, and Commando Galio, we can clearly see a human down here. They kind of go up to about mid-shin, kind of like before. Galio is also basically slamming on what looks to be like a tank. If this is tied to like Victor's Battlecast skin kind of thing, then that would make sense that this is about tank size, because it kind of has a similar art style or similar design. And tanks are about, looked at this, tanks, to my understanding, tend to be about like 10 to 15 feet, which, I don't know, this one's squished, so that one's kind of hard to tell. But the human here, who seems to be about in the same distance away from the camera as the fist, kind of seems to be about, I don't know, if they're about on average 5 to 6 feet, that means his fist is about 5 or 6 feet wide. So I'd say probably this Galio, the Commando Galio, is probably about the same height as Classic Galio, being around like 90 plus feet tall for just the body, for just his, his main torso. I'm not counting the wings in this, I guess. So that's pretty good. And then we have, of course, Debonair Galio. And Debonair Galio, I actually really like this design. The original Debonair Galio was kind of creepy. In case you're wondering, all they really did was they changed up the front of his suit and basically gave him a beard and painted his eyes. They changed his wings, and they turned basically these cufflinks purple, like the cuffs of his jacket purple. They didn't really change that much. It's, to be honest, mostly the face and this kind of like little scarf thing that are the biggest difference. In fact, everything here, like this hallway and these two people, are the same. It's kind of hard to tell the scale of these people. If I'm assuming these are either constructs like Oriana or maybe statues or other gargoyles. If they are other gargoyles, holy like Galio, like the same size as Galio, holy crap! Whoever tailored this jacket and suit is crazy. Though I'm assuming this is kind of your average size rose, and these are kind of normal human-sized constructs. So I would say this version of Galio is probably the closest to standard size Galio, especially since this is essentially a mana potion in a health potion jar, and this looks to be like your average rose. So I'd probably say on average, this Galio is probably anywhere from 12 to 15 feet if they scaled Galio up. Kind of hard to tell. Though again, whoever made this like scarf and like kind of made the suit for Commando Galio, props to you on tailoring something that big. Though, knowing Damas, yeah, this could just be like a really big tarp. So yeah, I would probably say Debonair Galio about 12 to 15 feet. Classic Galio and Commando Galio probably about a good 90 feet. And then Gatekeeper Galio at minimum like 400, 500 feet. And Enchanted Galio is probably easily 400 feet, not counting the wings. Anyway, so that's my thoughts on how big a Galio is. I still would kind of like a confirmation from Riot about how big Nautilus is. Unfortunately, Riot is really bad at updating Nautilus skin splash arts, and the only one we can really guess on is Astro Nautilus, who is obviously scaled down. Anyway, so let me know what you think in the comments below. Until next time, I'm Metagross Freak, and have a great one. Bye.